Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back here in studio. We got Jason Mears in the house. Jason Mears, Florida Best Quote Insurance. Going to talk about the insurance industry, some ideas that maybe help you save some money as well on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Coming up here in just a moment more with Jason Mears on the show here. A quick shout out to Lawn Anglers. Longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Adam Long and his team. They do a great job. If you're shopping to get your landscaping and lawn maintenance, we'd highly recommend Lawn Anglers. Mulching, tree trimming, yard cleanouts, lawn maintenance, and landscaping from Lawn Anglers. Adam Long and his team do a great job on our real estate properties. And a quick listing here, a couple of hot listings from the Platinum MVP team, always featuring our listings live on air. Strategy is to help you sell faster for more money. 6136 41st Street East in Bradenton. This is a property that we have in Bradenton, Florida, which is Manatee County. This one's in the Barrington Ridge community. 2,400 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a bonus room, 3-car garage, pool, and jacuzzi that backs up to a conservation lot for privacy. Beautiful property, great curb appeal there, and a great home with a private pool screened in Lanai. Great opportunity to own real estate right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. And we also have a new listing here at 8507 Cleonia Street in Tampa. Cleonia Street in Tampa, another opportunity for a real estate buyer investment. 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. You have a 864 square foot bungalow flooded with natural light. The roof is only 5 years old. Primary bedroom with an ensuite. And you have a quiet street there. Beautiful opportunity at Cleonia Street in Tampa, one of our hot listings from the Platinum MVP team. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com. All right, Jason Mears back in studio, Florida Best Quote Insurance. Welcome in.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. I always enjoy it.
Yeah, buddy. Great stuff here. And I love giving the consumer tips out. And you've got some really good tips teed up for us today because I think a lot of people are dealing with a budget that's been blown out of proportion, right? I mean, all those different things we've all heard about the inflation and how it's affecting consumers. But one of the ideas we wanted to talk about today was reshopping your policy.
Yeah, I think you're right. The whole home insurance industry has been pretty crazy here recently, and we had some hopes that there were going to be some bills passed in this current legislative session, but from what we've understood over this last, I think they're in session for another week or so. As of right now, nothing major is going to get passed unless they decide to tag something on the back of another bill, which does happen in government. So with that being said, if we're not going to be looking at any changes that are going to make any initial impact, and we're still a year or 2 years away from the home insurance market stabilizing, we need to start looking at what can clients do right now. And reshopping a policy is something that if you haven't done that in a while, you need to do that. Yeah. There's different agencies out there. We are an independent agency, which the biggest benefit of that is that we're not confined to just a few companies that we can write with. We write with close to 50 home insurance companies. So we can usually find that best option for you. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be Citizens. We have other options as well. So I think that's the main thing. If you haven't done that in quite a while, you need to shop with a company that has a lot of options. And we write with more companies than 90-something% of all the agencies in Florida.
And that's a great point, Jason. So here's a couple takeaways. So number one, what I would do is I would get a review. Every year, every other year, it's a great idea, maybe every 6 months, to get a review of what you currently have. So sometimes people have policies or coverages that don't make sense, or maybe they're overinsured and they're paying a higher premium. So get a review. Jason will do a review for you and take a look and say, maybe he says, hey, you're in great shape. There you go. You have peace of mind. Maybe you save a couple $100 a year. There's options there. Number two, the major point is that he is a broker. I love that idea because when I first got in the mortgage industry, I was a broker. I was a mortgage broker. I figured out that, hey, there's certain niches. So in other words, we call it different buckets, right? So if I have a borrower, for example, when I was in the mortgage industry years ago, that had a certain credit score and a certain LTV, which is loan to value, down payment equals loan to value. There's different niches, right? So you'll have a different lender that's going to have a better niche for that particular buyer. And if I know that as a broker, I'm going to have a great rate for that buyer that most, like you said, 99, we're beating 99% of the other brokers out there, or even a loan officer that's working at a standard big bank on the corner, the guys that took the bailout money, all those big companies that we don't want to support. We want to support the local brokers, the local insurance agents, the local real estate teams, Florida Best Quote Insurance. So that's a couple main takeaways that I have. You're able to shop and find better rates.
Yeah, for sure. And just bouncing off what you're saying, these 40-something, 50 companies that we write with, they're all independent too. So they all have their individual niches as well. So we'll get a call from someone saying, hey, I'm being told that my insurance agency can't find another option for me because my roof is 14 years old. There's companies that will take roofs that are 14 years old. You're just with an agency that has a limited number of carriers, and those carriers don't write roofs over 14 years old or whatever. So I think that's the main thing. That's the main benefit. And so, we have certain companies that are better with high-value homes. We have certain companies that are, if we have an older roof or the home is in the 70s or older, this is who we're going to shop them with. And so just having those options available is really, really important.
Right. Yeah. And that's what we've done with this Consumer Quarterback Show, folks, over the last 10 years we've been on air. We've compiled, I've heard it, I say it like this in many cases, is in any industry, there's good, better, and best, right? And we want to we want to vet, and we want to make sure that we're working with the best, because when we get deals, because this could mean a deal for us on our real estate business, right? So if we have a situation where, the roof is older, or there's an issue with the AC, we can call Jason and say, hey, look, shop this for us. We're having a problem binding the insurance. That's the term that means that, hey, we've got a commitment from an underwriting standpoint on the insurance. So it's saving deals for us. Could save you deal, and it could also save hundreds or thousands of dollars for the homeowner. So that's the key there, is making sure you're working with the right people. We're talking with Jason Mears, Florida Best Quote Insurance, right here in Tampa Bay. Talk about ways to save money. And other ideas come to mind. I remember you were just telling me about a story too that you had with the
Yeah. I think you brought up at the very beginning about the importance of reviewing your policy. One of the main things that allows us to do is to see a couple things. Are you overinsured or underinsured? And have you made any changes to your home that would impact your policy? We have a lot of people that will get a roof replaced, but they won't let us know. They're potentially missing out on roof credits that could help them save money. We have people on the other end of it, people that are adding a pool and a cage, and they don't call their insurance company, and so the company doesn't know they have it, so they're not going to have coverage for that, right?
Wow.
And so it's on both sides of that. But I think the big thing is, and talking about the story, replacement cost coverage is really important. Your home should be covered at whatever would cost today in this current market to replace that home. That's what the building coverage or dwelling coverage, coverage A, whatever term you're familiar with, that's what that part of your home insurance policy is. And I've had, on several occasions when you'll have, and one example in particular, a widow that had not touched her policy for 20 years and not looked at it. And she just, it was going through the mortgage and she just wasn't even paying attention to it. And when we finally reviewed it, it was really sad because they had put an inflation guard on her policy where the dwelling coverage was just increasing by a set percentage every single year for the last 20 years.
Wow.
And so when we finally reviewed her policy, she had way too much replacement cost coverage on that home, but she hadn't reviewed it in so long she didn't know that. And so when we ended up saving her $1,000, $2,000 on her policy, I don't remember the number, she was in tears practically because she's like, I can't believe I've been paying more for this long. So that's another good reason and good example of why you should review it regularly.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's another idea too. When you look at the deductible, how much you're paying, your premium is going to be affected by what your percentage, what your deductible is. And we had Derek Coble on the show, who's in the insurance industries in a way, because he's a public adjuster. So that's an interesting industry that a lot of people don't even realize is out there, Jason. Where if there's an event, a storm, or something happens, you have the right to hire a public adjuster and negotiate with the insurance company. But the deductible is another area that you may be having too high. He told a story about someone that had I think it was like a 10% deductible, and by the time they factored in what that would actually be, it was something like $67,000 out of pocket that this homeowner would have to bring to the table to get the insurance company involved, right? So that's $1 before they come into play, and then then they would pay whatever coverage was over that. But that could bankrupt somebody.
Yeah, and we run into that a lot on the hurricane deductible, right? Because the hurricane deductible, standard hurricane deductible, is 2% of whatever the dwelling coverage is.
Okay.
And so, and then the all other perils deductible, which is everything besides hurricane wind related, is the standard is $2,500. But sometimes we'll see $5,000, or sometimes people will put like a $1,000 deductible or $500 deductible on that. Maybe they could afford a higher deductible, which would save them money.
Right.
But then, to your point, a lot of times we'll see people with a really high deductible, and I always look at it as, if you don't have that money sitting in the bank right now, it's like you don't have insurance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Not only that money, but then you don't want to deplete yourself, so you got to have your money for next month's payments, and then most people like to have a 6-month cushion, right? So if you don't have these dollars in the bank and you're not planning appropriately, you could literally put yourself into a position where you have a wind event, a roof issue, you got water sitting in your home, you got mold all of a sudden now because you can't pay to get it fixed, and then that leads to health issues or worse, bankruptcies and those scenarios. So we're talking with Jason Mears, Florida Best Quote Insurance. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and we're getting into these areas as consumer advocates on how we can help you live a better life, how we can help you save time and money, and avoid commission-based advice. So that's what I'm going to ask Jason next when we come back. How can we avoid commission-based advice when it comes to the insurance industry? And we're also going to talk about some other ideas related to hurricane windows and some other things you can do when it comes to monitored alarms, ways that you can get discounts on your policies. So stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at Brandon Rhymes 1 at CQB Show. And please do us a favor, go to YouTube and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider who shares your values. They offer the very best nationwide coverage on 4G and 5G LTE networks and exceptional 100% US-based customer support. Patriot Mobile offers discounts for veterans and first responders, NRA members, and families with multiple lines. Learn more at patriotmobile.com/consumer QB. That's patriotmobile.com/consumer QB. Or if you'd like to give us a call, you can reach out at 727-263-3707. That's 727-263-3707. And we'd be happy to tell you more about Patriot Mobile. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. You can reach me at 727-263-3707. Call or text 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here in studio. Jason Mears, Florida Best Quote Insurance in the house.
That's right.
And Win with Sellers, teaching a class coming up. Win with Sellers, save the date. This is a cool class. Any realtors out there, anybody wanting to find out more about real estate, this is Greater Tampa Realtors. I'm teaching a class called Win with Sellers coming up on March 27th. It's Wednesday. Going to be 10:30 to 3:30. We're going to have lunch provided by Jenny Restrepo with Insured Title Agency. But this is going to be a fun class. I love teaching. I love giving back. And high skills that create clients for life. So this is where we're going to talk about becoming a listing leader in your market. And we're going to talk about the 7-step seller service cycle. Leads, listings, and leverage, objection handling, converting leads, appointments to contracts, finding the buyer. March 27th, save the date. I'm teaching a class over at GTAR. That's the Greater Tampa Realtor Association right there on Kennedy. You probably have driven by that place if you're in South Tampa. You would see that over off of Kennedy Boulevard, right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. And a couple of hot listings here for this segment. We always like to feature our listings. It's a strategy that helps us sell faster for more money. We got a property at 6441 4th Palm Point, St. Pete Beach. This is a property listing of Aaron on our team. Beautiful property, waterfront home. You have you're on the Boca Ciega Bay. Bring your boat. You have your own private boat dock and ramp. A boat lift, that is, not a ramp. 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2280 square feet. Stunning views of Boca Ciega Bay. Split level floor plan. You have a fireplace there as well. Hurricane rated roofs. Hurricane rated windows, that is. 75 feet of water frontage with your dock and water electrical connections there at the dock. Close to the beautiful beaches there. Sugar sand beaches, dolphin filled water. 6441 4th Palm Point, St. Pete Beach. 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 2280 square feet. Hot real estate listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We have another condo here, 2156 Masters Court, Dunedin, Florida. This one on Masters Court, this is a completely renovated, remodeled home, beautiful property in Dunedin, and it's a golf course community. So you can take your golf cart, cruise around, 3 bedroom, 3 bath, 20 square foot condo. Beautifully remodeled. It's an end unit. You got 2 primary suites. The kitchen has an eat-in space as well. Screen porch access. Plenty of parking. You're 0.25 mile, quarter of a mile from Pinellas Bike Trail. Community pool, Dunedin Isles Golf Club, and clubhouse, restaurant, and lounge. And close to the beaches, of course. 2156 Masters Court, Dunedin, Florida. You can see all of our listings. PlatinumCoastalElite.com. And I got to give a shout out for Zuli over here at Great American Cigar Tour with Sebastian Gorka. Get ready, Tampa Bay, AM 860 The Answer and Wired Differently proudly present an evening with the one-on-one and the one and only Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Join us on Tuesday, March 19th. We're going to be there. Some of our show partners are going to be there as well. An unforgettable discussion of politics and life, all while indulging in the finest cigars. That's it. An exclusive event for you don't want to miss. Tuesday, March 19th. Doors open at 6:30. And Corona Cigar Company right there in Tampa. And theanswer.com. TheAnswerTampa.com is where you can find tickets. TheAnswerTampa.com. All right, Jason Mears, we're in studio here, and we're talking about ways that homeowners can save money. Monitored alarms is one of the ways. I know you can do some wind mitigations, things like that. What are other ways for homeowners to save money?
Well, there's a few. Part of that review process, of course, is we're going to look at the replacement costs. We're going to look at the coverage they have for contents. A lot of times, you can cover that at actual cash value or replacement cost value. And if you're willing to cover it at less value, you can save some money that way. Deductibles is a big thing. But then another one is just have you made any improvements on the home, specifically a roof replacement? A lot of times people will replace their roof. They don't let us know. The insurance company know. They don't have a wind mitigation inspection done as a result of that. They could be missing out on roof credits that could save them hundreds of dollars on their home insurance company. So if you are in the market to get your roof replaced and you get that done, make sure that you get a wind mitigation inspection done, send that to the home insurance company so that we can know. So that would be the first one. The biggest confusion I'm seeing out there right now is related to hurricane-rated windows. A lot of people call us because they've got their windows replaced, and they say, hey, is this going to save me any money on my home insurance rate? In the majority of cases, the answer is no, because that is a wind mitigation credit. It's a roof credit on the wind mitigation inspection called opening protection. And what those insurance companies are looking for is they want all the openings in the house protected, hurricane rated. And so if you're getting the windows protected, but your front door, your patio door, your back door, your garage door, your skylights have no protection at all, they're usually not going to give you any discounts because you're not protecting the house fully. And so that can be a big discount, specifically with Citizens. Citizens has a huge discount for that. But if you're only replacing the windows and not having everything, other openings protected as well, you're not going to save money. That's one of the big misconceptions that's out there.
Yeah, misnomers. There's tons of misnomers out there. It kind of reminds me of a good point too, is that when you have an independent insurance agent, a financial advisor, a CPA or accountant, and you have these different areas of your life, and they're not talking to each other, they're not coming together. You've got to have that comprehensive approach when it comes to making sure your CPA is understanding what your financial advisor is doing, or the potential write-offs that you may not have. Mark Hay with 21st Century Financial Group talked about on this week's show 101 business deductions, tax deductions for business owners. So making sure that you're taking all those into account, and how to. But yeah, that's a good point, because a lot of times homeowners, they do certain things they don't even tell the insurance agent.
Exactly. They'll get a monitor alarm system put in, for instance, and they'll do that, and they won't let anyone know. And I know, and that's kind of another misconception too. That's one of those discounts that's not as big as you might think it would be, but every little bit helps. You're going to get a discount if it's just burglary. If it's also fire related as well, then that's going to give you a bigger discount. But it has to be monitored outside. If you've just got a pad that's going to ring if someone comes in, or even if you have a Ring doorbell and it goes to your phone, the companies they don't look at that the same as they would. It's going to a call center or something like that, who's going to call the police. So
yeah, exactly.
But if you do get a monitored alarm system, that's something else we would want to have proof of, and we can make sure that gets applied to your policy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, Jason, you also are an educator as well. I mentioned I teach classes, and I love doing that. You also go around the state, and you teach Keller Williams offices and other offices about insurance. And so share a little bit about, maybe you have an event that you're doing, or share a little bit about your passion there.
Well, that is my passion. I've been an insurance agent for 11 years, and I spent the majority of that sitting in front of a computer, answering phones from clients and getting quotes together for, running quotes for home insurance, flood insurance, auto insurance. And so I've now moved into a different role in our company, which allows me to do more things like this, which I love doing. I have a passion for trying to educate realtors and mortgage companies and title companies of what's going on in the insurance world, but also just the consumer. And that's why I love coming on and talking about some of these things. Especially, I think it's really, really important in the changing insurance market right now to be able to educate people on what those changes are, and how, like we've talked about today, how can they save money in the midst of all this? Because based on what's going on in the state legislature, and what I've heard from that is we're still a year and a half out, at least, from the market stabilizing, the home insurance market stabilizing, where you're not going to see these doubling of insurance rates and high. I don't know if we'll ever go back to those days where, we're paying what we used to pay, but where things start leveling out. But I just spoke at an event down in Sarasota. I'll be speaking at an event in Fort Lauderdale coming up next month, Naples next month. So
nice. I'm
excited about those opportunities.
That's fun. Last topic, just about a minute left. Cybersecurity and business insurance. Is that something you write as well?
Yeah, we have a couple of commercial insurance agents in our office that write those commercial policies. They are available. Sometimes the commercial policy itself would just allow it to be added on to the policy. In other situations, you can write a separate policy if that's going to end up saving the client money. Yeah. But we have a lot of those options available as well as just personal lines like home insurance and things like that. So we're the one-stop shop for insurance. If you have any needs, we write with around 13 auto insurance companies, 20 flood insurance companies, and as we mentioned before, a little over 40, almost 50 home insurance companies.
Yeah, and that's a big one. That area is something you got to be careful of because I was looking at one of the podcasts I listened to, and he says something. There was a quote here I'm looking for. It says, "What are the chances of AI?" There's $7.3 billion this company raised, but this expert talks about there's a 10 to 25% chance that AI technology could destroy humanity. And this is one of the guys that started the AI. So how he could easily destroy your business as well, some of these technology threats.
Well,
so.
I'm using AI, right? We're getting ready to start a podcast. I'm using AI to help me with that. So
nice.
I'm a fan.
How do you want people to connect?
They can connect me with my phone number, 813-385-4441. They can email me at jason@floridabestquote.com, or they can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Florida Insurance Tips.
Awesome. Good stuff. At Florida Insurance Tips. And you can email him also. You see all of his information on our website as well, consumerqb.com. Hey, another great show. We had Derek Usman, attorney Derek Usman, of course, Jason Mears, and we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.